Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are analyzing a case that really blurs the line between a maritime tragedy and something far more sinister.
It's a shocking legal argument.
It is. The prosecution reframes the sinking of the yacht Star Runner as a synchronized, cold-blooded execution for profit. We're going to unpack their blueprint for premeditated murder.
And that's the core conflict, isn't it? The defense is screaming devastating coincidence. But the prosecution says, no, this was a criminal enterprise, all about greed and meticulous planning.
Okay, so let's follow the money. That's usually the best place to start. The prosecution argues Tim Claudatus, the alleged mastermind, needed his brother Mike gone.
Desperately.
Right, to seize his 51% controlling share of Star Foods. I mean, that's the big corporate prize right there.
But he couldn't do it alone. He needed someone on the inside, someone who could make a murder look like a complete accident.
And that's where Warren T enters the picture. The prosecution paints him as a man crushed by, over 400,000 New Zealand dollars in debt?
A massive amount. And that's where the case really hinges on this one payment. An NZD $50,000 transfer, laundered as a so-called consulting fee.
So that's the smoking gun.
It's what the prosecution presents as irrefutable. They're basically holding it up in court and saying, here's the receipt. Here's the blood money connecting the architect to the hitman.
The sheer audacity of the plan, though. That's what's so striking. The prosecution claims they used two synchronized weapons.
Highly technical weapons.
Yeah, to guarantee Mike's death and also make sure the boat was destroyed. They even built a medical excuse right into the crime.
Exactly. The first was a metabolic attack, a chemical weapon, essentially. They substituted Mike's insulin with a placebo.
And what would that do, medically speaking?
Well, it's designed to induce a hyperosmolar, hyperglycemic state HHS over a very predictable 12 to 24-hour window.
Leaving him in a stupor.
Completely. Unable to react, unable to save himself. It provided the perfect medical reason for his death later on.
So while the victim is being incapacitated by this chemical attack,
they deploy the mechanical weapon, the yacht itself. The Star Runner was sabotaged with what investigators are calling an engineered point of failure.
How so?
The keel. We're talking about a 3.5-ton weight that keeps the whole boat upright. And it was intentionally held on by a temporary, tiny 6mm tack weld.
A tack weld. Just to be clear, that's like a temporary spot of glue for metal, right?
That's a perfect way to put it. It was hanging on by a thread, just waiting for the right kind of stress to snap.
Which is why they needed Warren T, an expert sailor.
Precisely. Because he knew exactly how to weaponize the yacht's own movement. The prosecution argues he executed a hard tack maneuver, the single most violent way to stress a yacht structure.
Timed perfectly for when Mike was already succumbing to the HHS.
A guaranteed catastrophic failure.
So the defense has to argue this was all just a tragic accident. But the actions after the capsize seem to defy that.
They flatly defy any narrative of panic. The prosecution's argument here is very strong.
The emergency beacon, the EPIRB.
Yes. That crucial 3.5-hour delay in activating it. That's not someone in a panic trying to get help.
That's calculation.
Pure calculation. Investigators say it was just long enough to ensure Mike's death before any rescue could possibly arrive, and, of course, to set the stage for a massive insurance fraud claim.
But the body's location, that really sealed it for the forensic team, didn't it? Mike's body was recovered only 20 meters from the hull.
And that just defies maritime physics. I mean, it's impossible. Forensic experts calculated that the body should have drifted over 500 meters away in that time.
500 meters. That's more than 5 football fields.
Right. The only logical conclusion, the prosecution argues, is that the body was deliberately tethered, staged by Warren T to support the whole false tragedy narrative.
So when you look at all of this, for you listening, the core claim is an unbroken chain. You have financial leverage.
Two synchronized, very specific weapons.
And a staged crime scene, all designed to secure corporate control.
And the sheer sophistication of it.
Yeah.
I mean, weaponizing a chronic illness alongside expert sailing knowledge.
Yeah.
It really makes you ask a difficult question.
Which is?
How many apparent accidents could actually be these kinds of highly orchestrated, premeditated crimes?
It definitely encourages you to consider the critical role that things like detailed toxicology and deep forensic accounting play in pulling these complex conspiracies apart.